Good morning. Or whatever it is, wherever you are. Alright, how much time do we got on this? Decent music, but got a little bit left. Oh. And I should probably have my version of this up. Really? Logged off already? I didn't even want that browser up right now. Anyway. Alright, so we've got default and that's the scene without a name. Okay, so that's probably source rule names, yeah. So we got some startup stuff that actually seemed to work on startup. Well, actually, I'm not sure about. No, okay, so yeah, the startup base rules didn't make it. But names would be darn nice. Doug and Lloyd, thank you for the host. So this is going to have to be the source settings filter. Now would I put this in common? Yeah, you're nice and quick this time. Serialize, deserialize. It's just name, right? If rule.name and then if name not equal to rule.name equals name. All right, so that's going to affect everything. The monitor needs to be able to receive it. And then the filter has to send it. Helps if you use the right string. Is the same thing up here? No. Okay. So that would be the receiving end. So we do have to do this and this. Maybe it's not name. Update rule settings. Source rules. Filter ID.name. R? Let's see. Well, live is you, so we are not serializing this. What about you? No, we need scripts, script log. And then we send it, name blank. Oh, maybe when it's set, you haven't gotten your name yet. Update filter info, whereas we serialize on create. Oh, that's no good. Ooh, OBS filter get parent. Okay, so that's bootstrap and update. Well, okay, so those are just timers. All right, so that should be, well, did some changes to serialization as well. Hey, you got a name. Send source name with rule. Oh, that was actually a note thing. Just fix that up. So now, well, oh no, what this has to be is that when the source loads, we have to make sure that it requests any existing state. That may not be as big a deal for regular users, but it's definitely going to help me, and it just kind of helps give us a little bit of load order independence. Startup source rules to monitor. Yes. Startup source rules. Well, okay, so this is the general rules to monitor to status. So for every signal, I keep wondering if I should go to something more like the Elm architecture, where you sort of have everything all in one sort of state object. Ooh. OBS data isn't enumerable. There's an array, but you'd have to do an array of data to do name value pairs. Well, my sources have names with them for the most part. So that could actually work. Of course, most of the time you don't have to send the entire state. Actually, most of it ended up in common. Okay, so that probably didn't need to be in common. I think alarm active ends up in a few places, which is something we're going to have to deal with. So I might need to manage that more by message. Yeah, okay, so notes. But it might still be a state. And then in status again. That's time and timeout. Once again, status monitor uses that information. The settings. Script load. Yeah, it listens for source mute and the request for audio sources. Yeah, so because I don't have a single runtime managing things, I don't know if you can like really pass around a single application state. You kind of have to deal with, well, this is the things that specifically change. Well, yeah, you would still have things that acted like commands to get specific information. And then we might synchronize out an entire application state. Because it's, well, that's going to be like so much serialization and deserialization that we don't need. The way it's actually working. Which means I need to have a way to request. So I've got a request audio sources. How do I send this? Oh, examine source states, which just sends out the mute messages. Okay, so a straight up parameter of signal name I want. Well, no, I mean request audio sources would be, we might check source mute, effectively. Maybe that's being a little bit too generic. But otherwise, it's just a one-for-one. Well, status is going to say request rules. Source rules. So the only problem, well, you know, if the main thread sends out an extra copy of the default rules every time it requests them, that wouldn't be the end of the world. So status monitor, script load, request audio sources. Ooh, I might check request rules. So the request doesn't have anything with it. Status monitor is sending it, and if it starts up, it wants everything. Oh no, so it needs the response, which it already has source rules and default rules. Okay, so we just have to implement, so we need you. So the default rules that I'm not getting it all right now. Of course, I haven't reloaded that script. So script load. Request audio sources. Okay, so request rules, and we need a connect. Request rules to request rules. And our other handlers, for example, request audio sources. Which I suppose I should continue to add as events, just because that is going to potentially be a synchronous thing. Event equals request rules. Signal handler signal. Oh boy. I should probably abstract that. Do I need to reference anything here? Default rule. Okay. No, it was just a generic rules. Which actually ended up kind of being in process events. Where is the? Well, it has to be above here because this is where we. Oh. This maybe it's only in step mania source order matters. Okay. Function send default rule. Process. All right, so that'll be with step 1. So we have to scripts panel. So you are going to be the thing that receives the initial prompt. So it sends that. Okay. So now we got the status for this one. Oh. Oh, and that's like updating its thing every right, because it's I need to do that to have that send only on change. But this should actually be really trivial to add to. Script load. Request rules, connect. Settings. Request rules. No, wait, settings? Request audio sources. Oh. Well, actually, that one was probably safer to do in process. So function request rules. It's gonna involve some call data, right? Lua might check source rule. Okay, 88 and yep. So once again, we need a parameter to make this a function. Request rules. Function send source rule filter. Yeah, I don't know what the word for a function body would be as a selection. Oh, I don't have the filter object. Oh, no, 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 no. I do have all the source rules, which is ultimately what we're sending. But I was sending the ID. So the source rule is going to have to know its ID. So that when we say send source rules, oh. So this is going to have to be rule. And unfortunately, we don't have a bulk serialization right now. So this could get messy if we actually do have a couple of them, or a bunch of them. So you're going to need to do a for oh. I could do that. Because we're going to be iterating through this. Oh, actually, I'm doing source rules by ID. Do end. So I could skip. So I'm doing a double script log here. I guess I kind of like this as a little bit more of a generic function. Source rules, filter.id. Seems a little bit dumb here, but then that just makes this rule and send source rule ID rule. All right, so this is the settings. So then when you reload, oh, no, settings should have had its stuff by then. And actually, I'm already logging the serialization. That was source settings. So I need to reload you. And reload you. I should have cleared. Event. I need to turn off that timer. It's just going to confuse me. All right, clear. Got request. Monitor. Receive source. With nothing in it. Well, now that doesn't make sense. Receive default. So are we not ready with data yet? I know what I serialized. Oh, I probably don't have audio sources yet. No, wait. Right, because you're going through an event queue that delays it just long enough. Yep, status load. Immediately we get the request. Immediately. Oh, so I should not send signals right away. Request audio sources right away. You don't currently have a bootstrap timer. Nope. But this has to be... Oh, this is a script load. Is it safe to send a signal on create? However, we need the SH signal handler. You jerk. Alright, status monitor. Ooh, that was an error? Got request. Event request rules, event request audio sources. Oh. 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 Script status load. Source status create. To clear this to make it. Yeah, so this actually happens first. So this is initial state of this entire script. So I'm basically going to need a bootstrap timer. Local. Which actually was exactly what I just had. And we need the signal handler in order to send it. And we need a... nope, too much. OBS.timer add. bootstrap in a little bit. You know what? I should probably do this in response to the request audio sources message, huh? Oh, but that ends up being a whole bunch of source mutes. So that's, yeah, not so good. Oh, I was supposed to be undo. OBS.timer add. Or maybe I should make that a separate message. And then bootstrap, and it's going to have to do a... I think the settings does some bootstrap stuff. Remove current callback. All right. Well, it knows it exists. What's the timing on this? Okay, source status create, script status load. Create some labels. We got the request, but status monitor has not received sources yet. Because we're processing events in a timer in the main script. So I might need... Maybe I should be more deliberate about the response to startup stuff. Or I could use a longer timeout. Because that really is just kind of processing delay. Process events happens in tick. Tick happens at sample rate, which happens at... How often am I updating the name? Every 10 seconds. This is kinda janky. It's a start, but it's kinda janky. All right, we've got an initial synchronization. I've not... Well, the monitor isn't going to show anything. The question is whether the alarm fires. Wait. Should that be an any? Yeah, because that's an any live. So actually, that was, yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, we're not doing... source visibility to status. But we have... so it might need to also trigger a request to make sure when it loads up it gets those rules. Oh, alarm. Okay. Well, no, we're in violation for default. Or maybe this should be actually alarm for any live with BRB up. Oh, and lazy name updates from settings. And actually, I kind of want to do that first, just so I don't have the spam going on. Oh, you know what? I did not need the ID equals ID thing in there. I'm pretty sure. Nope. Yeah, because we got it out of the actual array. It minus m status requests initial rules. All right. So we were saying the next thing I wanted to do is I need to do lazy name update just so I don't have spam in my log. Signal handler signal. Oh, I abstracted it. All right, name. If source rules filter.id.name not equal to name, then we do that. Which was actually a pretty easy thing. So a quick check on that. That's settings. No apparent error messages. Only send source name updates if changed. Startup source rules to monitor. We should be in a violation state right now, and I'm not seeing any alarms going off. So yeah, that still needs to be done. So you need to do the request source rules. Oh, it's just request rules. Okay. Oh, you also need, well, that's relatively easy to add. You do need to make a request for rules. You're not dependent on the audio sources, however. So signal that, and oh, it both listens and signals. That's interesting. You know what? I think I've seen it not respond to this before. But I could actually send this and then connect my own handler so I don't have to receive it. No, what I need is the handler for Lua might check source rule. What did I call that function? Because it doesn't update source rule. Okay. So request rules. So this is sort of a venti, but maybe it's, this may actually have been overkill. But this status actually has a call data associated with it. Oh. And apparently I've been doing functions differently. So that could sort of be common code. Because that is a completely shared event. I mean, I might get proven wrong later in terms of it being exactly the same code every time. That also seems a little... So that was status, no errors, main, I should really clear this. All right, script load, main, update what? Okay, it got a request. Monitor received the source. Main script did not receive it. Oh, it... R? I see the source that received the default. Why does status or main. Source rule, update source rule. Check source rule. I'm like check. Source rule, ID, JSON. Update source rule. I pretty much copied all the made common the code. What the heck? It's like you're getting the request. Wait. I'm doing a signal here. Okay, so I guess I can't wait to do that to avoid talking to myself. Need to have everything hooked up before we send a signal. Yeah, so we ended up sending out default twice. But we received that, and now there's an alarm. Okay. Source visibility to status. Because that's currently having no impact on the status monitor. Oh, do we actually commit that? Source rules. Request source rules for oh, it doesn't even appear that it's in this scene. So that could be a bit of a pain in the butt. So what are you counting on to display that status? Controlling. Source and source.active video sources. So that's certainly almost all tracked on. Oh no. Video sources. The only ones who care about are the ones we've attached rules to. But we're using source. Oh, but we have properties about these. Source.active. Source.incurrentscene. So we need to know stuff about the current scene. We need to know the active status. Do we do any of this as settings? Because that's... interesting. Because that defines the one we care about. Source and source.active. This is examine source states. Ah. I could just send the source to it. Source activate. What? Oh, that ended up in common. Oh, I forgot to search. Wait a minute. Oh, that's in common. But other things probably aren't listening for those events. Also, only if it's cached. And then it's only tracking that, not in current scene. Because we expect to do this every time there's a scene change. So I think all I actually use for video sources is active and in current scene. I've run into... I know I was running into trouble at one point with some of the get current scene stuff. So I kind of want to put that in my video sources. How do we synchronize this? The status monitor only needs like 2 pieces of information. Well, 3 if you count the name. So I'm already sending source mute signals to everybody. Well, the in-current scene information is not in any existing thing, so I could just do like name bool bool for like video status. Well, video source update. Video source status. Oh, and I used a global call data because it was all source. Now I need to have two call datas. Or, well, a function local. So I can have you update that. And maybe at some point I should actually switch this to doing fewer full scans of all the sources. And then if I actually switch things over to be a little bit better about, well, there are times where I've just been updating properties directly that I'm going to need to be better about that. I would rather not send. Well, no, if we allow, normally we're going to be looking at things toggling on and off. Once we get fewer source scans, send only, update only what changed. Once we do that, we'll be okay. But we need to have a audio data and a video data Okay. Now I need to have an actual signal. You don't need to listen to it. Lua, mic check. Video source status. Gonna have a string name a bool active and a bool in current scene. So then every time we update this, we're going to do something like this. Except we're going to set a string to the name. We're going to set a, bool be the same. Bool for active to active. No, I did it as a string. Oh. I kind of just don't want to serialize a string into this. What was it? No. Is it Control P? Maybe, but I don't know what the default buffer is. Forgotten all my Vim golf tricks. And then in current scene, I just got a variable for this, right? Yep. But it is the signal. Oh, and this is audio, video. Yeah, these different data objects. Mic check, video source status. All right, so that should be able to send signals that no one's listening for. We can make sure it doesn't crash or anything. Scripts. Oh. And yeah, okay. And I understand what happened there. I put a call data free at the end and never updated that instance. So we need this for audio and video. Uh-oh. And we have a deadlock. This is enum sources. Can I figure out what script it was? Call data signal callback. Where's current Lua script? Must be a here. There's dir. What's the actual name? Would you please? Thank you. Okay, so this is the base script. Signal handler signal. Oh, so the callback. Okay. Wait, so what's it waiting for? The sources lock. So did this just happen? Wait. Enums. Oh, where was I? Because this is going to cross scripts. No, I was sending the mutes before. That shouldn't be a bigger problem than it was. Oh, you're in signal handler graphics thread. Text sources. So it's going through and activating everything. But I haven't hooked anything up to the new signal yet. Oh, the main script is listening to source activate. Which can happen on the video thread. But it could probably also happen on other threads, so it's not like I can really well, I could separate the scripts just for that one thing, which would be silly. And say all your activate events come in on this thing, because it could be video and it could be main, and we don't know. Although if I signal, that is a correct callback. So I'd have to like gather everything up and defer it to a time when I knew it was on the main thread. Oh boy. Video thread doing startup activation signals, while main thread is enumerating sources. Now, is this actually like a signal lock? Lock callback. OBS Lewis script. Current Lewis script mutex. Yep. And actually, were we in a callback? That's enum sources. Oh. Yeah, this is main thread. Main thread does the source create. So what signal are you doing? The source create signal. which I'm watching and enumerating sources, which I should probably, just saying, I should probably not be enumerating sources there. Well, main thread is enumerating sources in source create. Conflict with script lock and mutex and, well, no, the callback is the script and sources mutex. So the answer here is to not, yeah, source create has to be source specific, so it doesn't have to take the sources lock. But this hasn't been a problem up until recently. So are we just getting bad luck, or is sending that extra signal is what's doing it? Okay, so it's just bad luck for the moment. All right, so what were we testing? Right, that nothing blows up when we add that side of things. All right. Time for me to take a little break. I'll be back in a minute or two. All right. So, yeah, that's going to be a long time coming, or a long time waiting. Get that back out of the way. So we have this set up to send updates with just the information that status monitor needs. So we got that. Status, script load. So we add that. And then we have to do a connect. And I should probably exercise the signal handler signal discipline of after everything is defined. Connect. Video source status, video source status. Just somewhere up around there. Oh, this got moved to common code. Local video source status equals function name active in current scene. So the only parts of video sources that we care about are name active in current scene. So we can pretty much say video sources. Oh, I have to. No, this is call data. So local name equals OBS dot call data string call data name local active call data bool active in current scene. Now name equals name active equals video status active. I almost shouldn't be doing that. I know the mute versus is mute positive, is mute true or false was always confusing to me. In current scene equals in current scene. And we can just kind of overwrite that because it's going to be a full update as far as we're concerned. And script log receive video status. Tools, scripts, script log. Yeah, so status is the thing we're actually going to have maybe code issues. Oh! So I can already see that's working. Oh. Except I'm not triggering it in all the right places yet. All right, so what is source activate doing? That end up in common? Source. Oh, that just updates. Yeah, that's going to have to actually send a message. Oh, you know what? I put this in common because I thought the source might be listening to this. But what this doesn't have is in current scene, and I don't know if I have a good way to get that. Call data. So source activate, that's just a source in a message sent from the system. I might be able to just hook that up. Status script load. Okay. Aha. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Status, get diff. Got to cut down the logging at some point. Oh, did I miss a commit here? Yeah, I missed a commit somehow. Oh no, this is all part of it. Just a little two-step process. Send video status to status script. Now, something I've been starting to think about is our signal handlers are getting kind of crazy. So we have signals received. Oh, I guess I could, yeah. Should I should I separate the adds from the connects? No, because those are always going to change at the same time. So signals received. Signals sent. You should mostly, all right, so well, I don't connect this, so I must send it. Yeah, because it sends the default rule. Request audio sources. Yeah, this thing sends the audio sources. Oh no, that's request audio sources. Request rules. This receives that. Connect. I check video source status. Then this one is in an awkward place where it is both. Video source status. Default rule is a response. So I guess for some cases a request response pair would have been nice. And then settings, script, load, signals received, connect, signals sent. So breaking out the adds and the connects will make it easier what you're make it clearer what things you're listening to. But the only thing we do for the sent is the adds, so you kind of have to. All right. Add. I should probably have that down there. Connect. Yeah, so you respond with source rule, you request audio sources. I don't have the flow of individual things where then you request audio source and it comes back with audio source, which is the do a check source mute, but it's kind of getting hard to follow what I'm sending and receiving here. And then status. Connect, connect, add, connect, add, connect, add, connect, add. Signal sent, request, request. Video source status. And we immediately request the audio sources. Okay, so do a quick reload and all that. No, you. No sign of errors. No sign of errors. Seem to be back to a good state. Reorg signal definitions by received sent. All right, so you are already able to figure out yellow, green. Oh, the status display also does the timer. So I need the alarm status and all the time information. So the main script can just sort of signal that. And then status will listen for, active and time updates. So what exactly was that? Ended up in common, unfortunately. Active, trigger active. Okay, so that's the red. Okay, so I was able to do the yellow independently, but trigger active. Trigger time, trigger timeout. I can probably get this to send messages only when things change. So the messaging won't be too bad versus recalculating it in the status monitor. It might be safe to use video tick now too, although it doesn't need to be that accurate. Trigger alarm, set alarm. I could do a trigger active check here. To only signal if needed. So we have alarm active, we have trigger active. We have trigger time and trigger timeout. Don't want to do that all in one message? Because technically the alarm and the trigger go at different times. And then they reset all at once. But it's like I have to do one signal with a bunch of arguments. Well, I guess set and reset would be argumentless. And then trigger active would be implied in getting the first signal, so it would just be time and timeout. And set alarm has to do a bunch of other stuff, but it could just be the alarm active flag in status. All right, so you're going to send a whole bunch of signals. trigger active. Yeah, you know, I kind of like to name my handlers after these. Trigger activate, alarm, activate, and... Oh, this is the signal call. That was on the big argument list. Mic check. Trigger activate. And you are going to be the nasty one, which has probably int time int timeout. And then we have alarm activate. And is it alarm reset or trigger reset? It's a little bit of both. And we should probably actually send. If this script reloads, kind of all bets are off on whether we're alarming right now. All right, so then status monitor needs to have these same things. What? Except these are all signals received, which means it has to connect them to something. Trigger activate. Trigger activate. Alarm, yeah. Alarm activate. Alarm activate. Reset, reset. Okay. So now, up where I'm doing all my callback stuff, local trigger activate call data and local equals function, local alarm activate equals function, and local alarm reset equals function. So this is alarm active equals false, trigger active equals false, alarm active equals true, trigger active equals true, and then we get to the tricky part. Local time equals OBS call data int call data time. Oh, you know what? Well, they're unambiguous in this context. And actually, in this context, I'm just setting global variables, so I could just say trigger time. And trigger timeout. So I can do a load check on that one. Okay, nothing crashes. And then now for all the event generation. OBS. Yeah, so set alarm, and which is actually called by trigger alarm. So we have to say if alarm active or trigger active. Then we'll do that. So that will be our send alarm activate. This will be send trigger activate. This will be send signal handler signal. Trigger alarm. All right. Lua mic check. Alarm activate. Actually, set alarm already has to do very specific things, doesn't it? I might actually not need the edge detection on that. Yeah, if alarm active, if not alarm active. Alarm activate. Alarm deact. Alarm reset. Oh, you have no data. And then one that does have data. Do we have a simpler setup? Oh, I need the signal handler though. Set alarm. And I mostly don't even need to get this. All right, signal handler signal. You don't have call data, you don't have call data. You're reusing call data. So call data init set free. All right, set int time. I hope time is an int. Oh, yeah. All right. No complaints. Oh. Oh, no, this one wants it to be all off. Or if that, then, yeah, we get the alarm. So alarm reset didn't do that. That's weird. It was off for a moment. So I seem to have a problem with deactivating my alarm. Thought I could get away without logging these like crazy. All right. Let us. So that is on both scripts, actually. So we're actually clean, but once we start activating, we never stop. Send the trigger activate. Oh, I need to set an alarm. Yeah, I need to send my alarm reset in a different place because it's also turning off the trigger. Now, I'm doing that here because this catches all uses of set alarm, of which those are the only two. You know what? We kinda... What? That still should have been an edge detection. If oh, because it's not alarm active, trigger active. Yeah. And that actually is a different condition. Oh, but we're gonna have to do that before we check those flags. So that was strictly within this side of things. Okay. Probably want to turn down all of that spam. All right, everybody happy? Still pretty spammy. All right. Commit send alarm status to status script. Fewer source scans. Hopefully we don't cause any trouble here, but we kind of do need to cut down those iterations. We found at least one deadlock involving that. So examine sources. Examine sources? Oh, yeah, examine source states. So request audio sources, yes. Front-end scene changed, yes. Source create. We really only have to do stuff for that. Source destroy. We'll have to figure out how to do that. Actually, then we have to check how that synchronizes too. Script load. Yeah, kind of have to. So create and destroy are the big ones because those fire on OBS startup. Which means I'm going to have to abstract some of this. Ooh. So all this common code is going to have to get run every time it's needed. Unless I want to duplicate everything in my everything down here instead. And 2 instances of code is worse than running code twice, I guess? So this is actually going to be enum over a function that has all of that stuff in it, so we'll have to have like examine source state that does all the work. So I guess the first step is to move all of that stuff inside the loop, then abstract the function. Then we have a function we can call for create and destroy. Oh, actually destroy for create. Destroy. I'll think of what that means. I was completely rebuilding my array. That actually doesn't sync. Oh. I know it's had a full rebuild after all. Oi. Well, so these can move down to where and if they are needed. Oh, wait. Oh, no, the call data free was down here. Oh, and we have to release the current source every time. You have to release the current source, but you need the current scene. I'm wondering if I could set up the extracted function to have an optional argument for that. Or you just always have to get that when you're calling the function because it's two places. You can duplicate it in two places. Or maybe I should have to not worry about it. Alright, so that's going to be all in the main script for now. Didn't catch anything that looked like an error. Now, VNB. Yep. Oop. Okay, because that was a character accurate thing. Yep. Function examine source state. And then see if this is still happy. Okay, so far okay. So examine source state source. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm actually not sure how that source destroy. I can delete it from my list, but I might need a separate thing for that. Well, I might be able to just hook those directly in the other scripts for the things they care about. Well, the in-current scene is a little bit of a pain. But source destroy might just want to hook in each script, because that's going to be well, maybe there could be a little bit of an avalanche when we shut down, but it's just cleaning up internal data structures? So we might want to send like mute invisible not in current scene, but that's going to be well, source destroy might be after it was removed and we called invisible. So sure. Although it's going to get counted as an audio source. A muted audio source, but an audio source nonetheless. All right, and the thing that we ran into that was a problem with this was actually a lock when we were starting up, which I think that's the only time I've had that lock before. Okay, BRB, Mike's live. Yep, makes perfect sense. Probably because I didn't do a graceful exit. Oh, because that's any live. Well, I haven't gotten it to trigger yet. But I don't know what the odds of that particular deadlock are. All right. Notes. That's all the source scans I can remove. I can do a little bit of work on the font icon portability check, because it basically comes down to checking for file existence. I need to figure out if there's a... I think I asked on the Discord if there was an easier way to get high-level audio information and nobody answered. So that might be an insolvable problem without doing a lot of overhead processing in Lua, or a lot of audio processing in Lua, which is maybe not so great. I don't actually know. I mean, we do have some CPU load on an OBS that's basically sitting here. Now that might be all my custom source here. No? Because this one also has debug instrumentation. But it's like it's using as much CPU as the OBS that is streaming right now. And I guess it could be that entire script is doing a lot of stuff. And we still got a video filter processing. No, you're actually not filters. That makes it invisible. Doesn't really do anything on render anyway. Just kind of to make properties work. Yeah. Maybe I could remove the video render from that entirely if I just told people to hide it. Oh, I know what I need to do. These all still have the default text. OBS, mic check. So actually, I think the communication might be done. Huh. Anyway. Description. Okay, so that is what this script does. Add a media source for the alarm. So you need to say use OBS script mic check source settings dot third.lua to attach to add rules to video sources. Use status monitor.lua to get a visible source. You can use probably by projector to check which rules may be firing, to check which sources may have filters attached and which rule may be firing, triggering. If no, we do have to describe how that works. And then settings, description. This purpose is to, not the alarm, status, description. OBS source which visually displays mic check alarm status. Add to your sources. It may be most useful via window projector, so it is not visible on stream. Maybe most useful hidden and used with displays the default rule and a section for each source with an attached settings filter. Only one set of rules is active at any given time. The associated rule set will have a colored bar. Yellow audio sources indicate they are currently in violation of the rule. A count up timer will be shown when a rule is triggered, and the alarm will be activated soon. The entire window source is red when the alarm is active. All right, I need to break this up a little bit. All right, tools, scripts. So, okay, so this kind of got replaced with other stuff, and of course the ones with the without properties. You know what? I might be able to. Well, I'm in status monitor right now, but. I guess I don't necessarily need to have to do the one-line summary thing. There's not a lot of stuff here. Yeah, that was an extra space. I probably do need to say in this one, however. Provides per source mic check settings via filter properties. All right. I could probably shrink this up a little bit. You can add the script and get the description. A visible source. To monitor alarm status. Still 2 lines. Alright, so those two could operate without the settings. Yeah, can't operate without main because that's where it gets its audio sources from. I should probably have that in there. So that needs the settings filter for settings, but it can otherwise stand alone if you just want the default stuff. Settings. There's OBS, mic, check. OBS, script, mic, check.lua. I think it's mainly just Source mute, because I'm using that to identify the signals. Wait, why are you requesting rules? This signal is neither sent nor received. Yeah, so send the source rule, request audio sources. Yeah. To get the list of audio sources. It requires that to exist. Non-functional without. Now the status monitor, yeah, also depends on the main thread for like all of its information. You could probably get the list of without functionality will be limited to listing the sources with attached settings filters. And the other thing I wanted to do, I wanted to take common and just put this in here just in case. Support script for OBS script mic check should not be loaded directly into OBS. So if we do that, okay. Right. Status diff. Oh, did I forget to? No, that was the stuff I found. Okay, I didn't update the. Oh, I did forget to change. Fewer source scans. Update script descriptions. So the thing I wanted to do for checking or attempting to check portability stuff was see if there's anything I can use to test for file existence. File functions. It's going to be a PNG, so I probably want to open it. Size, stat. So these are the things we want to see where these files exist. And it's an int, huh? Oh. Struct stat. That's just a return code. So what we're doing right now is testing file existence. Oh. Well, you know what? We're in the debugger. Just stop. Just stop. Except that now I can't see the message. What? Oh, so I probably like blocked out getting the error here, blocked it from. Well, it has to return data too. You know what? We can do the statting and load. Script load. Now we don't have to return anything. But we definitely had an error. You know what? Even though it's not necessary to do, that sounded easier, but in fact, fget size, it returns an int. That's going to be much easier to handle. I did not notice that stat argument there. Oh, okay. That auto-upped because of an error. Error calling, attempt to call field. Oh, you jerks. And this takes a little while. I don't remember taking this long. Did I hit one of the infamous deadlocks? Or maybe it's taking longer because it's in the debugger. Oh, hello. I don't have a dinger on YouTube. Alright, so what do we got? OS. OBS. Uh-oh. Didn't perchance get put into it. No, there's no OS anything there. Okay. Wait a minute. So I need to not do that. Status. Oh, you know what? I can do failed to load texture. Kinda. So guess we just have to make this a loop. Well, what did the documentation for this say? As the graphics API set, yeah. Image file helper? Init texture. Oh, file init is where it gets the... It's a void. And we just check for image.loaded. So we kind of have to do everything before we can see if it worked. All right. So for every image we load, we want to try... It's wasteful, but we only need 2 images. And I think it might have been that one. I'm gonna have to check on my other computer real quick. And I had to reset for an update, so none of the files are still open. Files, programming. This would probably be filed under Lua. Script might check. Oh, so it's still a single thing. Oh. So I did not keep the changes I made while testing that. Okay. So I'm actually gonna have to experiment with that some other time. But I thought I had gotten it to work. Anyway, I'm pretty sure I found a path, or if I haven't found it, I'll find it sometime. So file. For we passed in an image instance. So this is going to be if image.loaded, then return. Actually, since this is a not, I could actually say break. And do data. Oh, which means this is going to want to be slash. All right, see if the local one still works. Scripts. Oh yeah, it was all messed up a moment ago. Oh, attempt to call. Haven't removed OS GIF get size. Okay, got one of them. Why am I not getting... my script settings now? But I do have my icons. Attempt to set up for cross-platform icon loading, not yet tested. All right, so now why are you all of a sudden... No. Okay, it exists, it has settings. So if I reload you, then it sends it. Alright, so what is the order of events here? That you are not... Request audio sources, request rules. Why is... Oh, I was searching for the wrong thing. And you are the... Fine. Okay. Hey, Lizzie. Oh. You again. Oh, thank you. Wish. Okay. Wish where? I really wish, you know, I wish that they would make this actually usable. Which is why it's not in general release yet. Oh, also get pack refs. That one that didn't appear in the log. Alright, so... She... Oh, hey, we're already in get. We need... Wish. And we need... Get pack refs. This is all... This thing is a little harsh on programming environments. Oh, is this in a different directory? Ming64, git core. libexec git core. All right. I fly in 12 hours. Where are you flying to? No, I actually want to look at... All right, so now... Not working copy. Seattle. Ooh. Ooh. Is this like an interview, or this is like permanently moving? Internship. Oh, okay. It's not quite permanently, but... Gonna be actually going there for a while. Ooh. Yep. I was searching for the signal name, not for the handler name. Scripts. You're the other thing that changed, and then you're the thing that wants to get updates. Okay, cool. And then, let's see. Yeah, so that's not really possible. We haven't been hitting deadlocks lately. So this might be the point where I have to possibly make a copy in case I need to work on it, because it was a volatile thing, and actually see if I can get it to work in my setup. Well, yeah, that's been a combination. Well, it's a combination of, I'm not going to have transcoding very often, and having dropped frames fairly often. So oftentimes the cutting the bitrate helps. So I try to trade off the frame rate and resolution to make the best of it I can. But it's getting to be around lunchtime, and I'm kind of wrapped up on this for the moment. I want to take this over to my other computer and see if I can get the icons to work sometime. But this actually, so I guess what we can do here is seems to be sort of successful. Although I guess, no, I think there's still a couple deadlocks that I can't get rid of even without splitting scripts. So I've kind of worked around some of the others. But it might have something functional. I may also come back and see if I can get the web one working in a browser source by allowing the login parameters to be done as URL parameters. That might actually be 20 followers from away affiliate. Interesting. For me, the struggle has always been viewers. It's still a struggle. I guess I'm just not that interesting. Alright, however, I do need to take lunch. So that is going to be that for the programming stream. I'll probably, last weekend I think I kind of missed the neuroslicers thing because I had to go out Friday. So I'll probably be trying to spend at least some time checking out the changes there. Then I'll see when I can get back to 1 hour, 1 life. So stream over. Thanks to SES Dev, Haskin TV, Oscar Gaming, Stormy Ice Leopard, Dog and Lake, Cat Knox, Pants is taken, One Jellybean, and Lizzie Live for hosting me. Okay. Having friends helps. That's something I'm not so good at. What do we have that we might be able to recommend here? something's going on, that's for sure. All right. So let's look for some place to hang out. How's that said? Noalik0321 is making a game. He's got a little bit of a busy frame, but seemed like a decent guy last time I was there. So if you're looking for someplace cool to hang out, that's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Why? I didn't just want to focus the window. I don't want to click anything. But anyway. And bye-bye. Oh, no, we need to do this first.